Hello, welcome back to 6th grade math. This is your teacher, Miss Silver Plata. We are still in module 2. Last week or last lesson, we started with topic B in module 2. And topic B is about multi-digit decimal operations. In this lessons, for topic B, we are focusing on addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So we continue with lesson 10. In lesson 10, this is the distributive property and the products of decimals. Okay, so in this lesson, you are going to use distributive property, you will see partial products, and you will see a strategy that it's easier to find the product of a decimal number. So we begin, okay, with this expression. Calculate the product. According to this exercise, I want you to calculate the product by using the standard algorithm. So let's do that together. 200, let me write here, okay, times 32 and 6/10. So standard algorithm, 6 times 0, 0, 6 times 0, 0, 6 times 2, 12. Okay. Go to the next one, the 2, placeholder, don't forget that. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 2 is 4. All right? Last digit, 3. Don't forget your placeholders. 3 times 0, 0. 3 times 0, 0. 3 times 2 is 6. Then you add them all together. 0, 0, 2, 5, 6. And don't forget, it's in tenths, so don't forget your decimal in tenths. So 200 times 32 and 6/10 is 6,520. Okay? Using the standard algorithm. Here's another one. 500 times 22 and 12 hundredths. Okay? Again, let's use the standard algorithm. These are more digits here, so I'm going to start with that. And then place the 500 here at the bottom. Okay? And then we begin. 0, 0, 0, 0. Placeholder. Okay, we are on this digit now. So everything again is 0, 0, 0. Okay. Placeholder again. 0, 0. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. Okay. And then you add. Are you following what I'm doing? Yes. And then don't forget, this is in the hundredths place. So there you go. I'll go back here. 500 times 22 and 12 hundredths equals 11,060. Okay? All right. So that is standard algorithm. Long method. You don't want to do that, huh? Okay. So let's make it easier. We are going to use the same example from the previous slide, but this time we are going to use partial products and distributive property to calculate the product. Now, how does that work? Okay. This is how it works. Instead of the standard algorithm that we did in the previous slide, what I'm going to do is I am going to decompose my 32 and 6/10, okay, and get partial product by multiplying it by the first factor. So instead of 200 times 32, watch closely. I will have, okay, when I decompose this, this is going to be 32 and 6/10. Okay, so what does that mean? I have 200 times 32. So I got that part. And then add it to 200 times 6/10. All right. So that is what you call distributive property. You decompose one of your factors and you multiply it one at a time with the other factor. Okay? Now, I am going to use mental math in the partial products. So beginning with 200 times 32. I know that 32 times 2 is 64. But we are multiplying it not by 2, but by 200. So this is 6400. Mental math. Okay? Can you imagine if we use the standard algorithm? It's going to be a long one. And it showed in the previous slide. Then we go to the next factors. I am multiplying 200 times 6/10. Mental math. 6 times 2 is 12. Okay. 100. Okay. But this is tenths. So that would be 1200 tenths. Right? So how do we write 1200 tenths? 1200 tenths is actually 120. Does that make sense? All right, so 6,400 plus 120 is 6,520. Okay, so partial product. Which ones are the partial product? 6,400 and 120, and your final product is 6,520. And that is by using distributive property. Now let's go back. You remember this problem right here? Our answer, 6,520. We go back to the previous slide. Look, 6,520. So which one would you prefer? Standard algorithm or partial product using mental math? Of course, partial product. It's easier. Okay? All right. Now, let's go to the next example. Here it says, use partial products and the distributive property to calculate the area of the rectangular patio shown below. So this is the patio, and it has 500 feet by 22 and 12 feet. So you remember this expression? 500 by 22 and 12 feet? That is in the first slide, the one we did with the standard algorithm. So here we have the same expression, but we are going to use distributive property and partial product. So let me begin with that. Move it here on this side. I need more space. Okay, we want to calculate the area. Okay, so here is what we're going to do. Okay. We are going to decompose 22 and 12 hundredths by getting the whole number and then the 12 hundredths and multiply it by the other factor, which is 500. Okay, so we decompose and we use distributive property. So if I am going to illustrate that, what we just did, decomposing that other factor, this is the 500 feet. Okay. This from here to here is your 22 feet. And then we add a little here, and that would represent your 1200 feet. Okay. So by using partial product or distributive property, the first thing we will do is 500 times 22. 500 times 22 is what? Here you go. And then we get the other partial product, 500 times 12 hundredths. 500 times 12 hundredths. Did you see it in the illustration? Yes. Okay. So let me get my paper over here so that it's easier for us. Mental math again. Okay. So 5 times 22. How much is that? 5 times 22 is 110. Am I right? I did a lot of lessons already. I didn't remember. Okay. All right. 522 is, yes, 110. I'm right. 110, but that is 22 times 5, but this is hundreds, so 110 hundreds. Okay, so simply that's 11,000. Okay, so I go back here, this area right here is 11,000 feet. Okay. Now let's go to the other partial product. 12 times 5, and 12 times 5 is 60. But that's not just 5, that is hundreds. However, this is a hundredths place. Correct? So 6,000 hundredths is what? 60. So this portion right here has an area of 60 square feet. So your partial product, 11,000 and 60, add them together, is 11,060. It's talking about area, so square feet. Okay, so let's see if we got the same answer from the standard algorithm. Remember, this is 11,060, and there is your 11,060 right there. You see it? Okay. So what do you prefer? Standard algorithm or partial product using distributive property? Of course, we want to use the partial product. It's easier and quicker. All right. If you are in the classroom, in lesson 10, you will be walking around the classroom. Your teacher will be posting several expressions on the wall, and you are going to answer those expressions, find the product using distributive property and partial products to answer, okay? So I know you have your packet, and in your packet you will see a paper with all these expressions that is labeled Station 1, Station 2, Station 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so you can still do this at home. You copy this, okay, on a piece of paper for each expression, post it around your house, or you can go outside the yard and post it there, and then just walk around, you know, and calculate using distributive property and partial product, okay? If that's what you want to do. If I'm doing it at home, I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to put one in the kitchen, one in the living room, okay, one in the dining room, and so on and so forth. Then that, you know, I can walk around, can have my little exercise. So do that. I encourage you to do that. All right. So before we close, okay, after you finish your activity, share your answer to anyone in the house. Ask that person to use the calculator and check your work. Okay? But you can't use the calculator. No, ma'am. Don't use your calculator. Okay? Use distributive property and partial product. Okay? So, remember you still have an exit ticket in your packet and problem set. Those are extra practice that you can do to master this distributive property and partial product. Okay? Stay safe. This is the end of lesson 10. I'll see you next time with more lessons from module 2. Stay safe. Bye.